The tale starts with Russia saying that they've taken control over Bakhmut, Ukraine denying the same and saying that we are an inch close to Bakhmut. So what's exactly happened here? Moscow declared a triumphant victory in Bakhmut. This victory flashed with the state media extolling its liberation and President Vladimir Putin promising state rewards to those who distinguished themselves. However, this news was dismissed in Kyiv. Officials insisted that the city was not completely under Russian control and saying that the battle was far from over. The commander of Ukraine's ground forces said, despite the fact we now control a small part of Bakhmut, the importance of its defense does not rule its relevance. These conflicting messages were indicating there are a number of things happening simultaneously. Following this, Russian troops and intelligence agents said a sabotage and reconnaissance group has crossed into Russia's Belgorod region. This very region that's been repeatedly shelled since the war broke out. The Russian army said they were seeking to eliminate a Ukrainian sabotage group that has crossed the Russian border. Now, this is apparently a group of anti-Putin Russian nationals who are aligned with the Ukrainian army. Meanwhile, at the G7 summit, there was a lot of discussion that took place about providing F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine, the very same fighter jets that are believed to fill Ukraine's defense needs. However, the looming question here was who would provide these jets to Ukraine, because one after the other, European countries denied that they would step forward, thus shifting the onus on the US, which, by the way, has already announced training programs for Ukrainian pilots. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Zelensky has assured the US President Joe Biden that the aircraft will not be used to get into Russian territory. The last we checked, the head of Russia's Wagner mercenary group announced that its forces have started withdrawing from the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut, and with that, the transfer of control of the city to the Russian army is to be concluded by the 1st of June. But at the same time, Prigozhin, the Wagner army chief, has warned that Russians could revolt if the invasion continues to struggle. Now, why did he say that? Prigozhin's statement points to the social disparity underlined by the war, where he highlighted that the sons of the poor were being sent back from the front in zinc coffins, while the children of elite shook their asses in the sun. I'm sorry, I'm just quoting him. What do these developments mean for Russia now? Does this indicate any danger from Wagner for Putin? And where is this war headed? For more on that, let's talk to Joachim Bitterlich, who was the former German ambassador to NATO, and get some further insights. Thank you so much, Herr Bitterlich, for joining us. Just first of all, tell us what is happening in Bakhmut, because no one seems to know what's happening. It's a very confused picture out there. What can you tell us? What are you being able to pick up?
Well, we have one problem together, because we do not dispose of, let's say, an objective information. We get the information from both sides. I add to this some information from the Brits, who are in general in Europe the best informed, but I listen to the other side too. My impression is both sides are more or less exhausted through these infights in Bakhmut that has got, let's say, what I call an importance that it has not in reality. What I fear at the end of the day, it has not been, when I look at the Russian side, there is a certain destabilization of the Russian army, which is going on through Wagner. It's a risky competition. When you look inside Russian politics, these ongoing competitions towards Putin and perhaps as potential successors to Putin.
All right, sir, if you had a crystal ball and I was to ask you to gaze into that and tell us where will we be 1 year from now, what would your answer be?
I would like to see them to end as soon as possible.
Right.
Because losses are too high for both sides. And I've still in mind what the Russians were agreeing, let's say, between the year 2010 and 2020. But the Russians have totally lost, let's say, this capability to be flexible and to be open. They
All right.
are in their niche, in their corner. And the Ukrainians have gone more and more to their corner too. But I think the Americans will be at the end more helpful than it seems today. And some others from the third world, and I include here especially India, could be helpful there too.
All right, sir, thank you so much. We'll have to leave it there for the moment, but thank you so much. We'll all keep our eye, I guess, on Ukraine and what's happening there.